Hello, everybody. I'm a 40 guy here again today, and I wanted to touch on a few things. The first being different holster options and stuff like that for concealed carry. The second is looking at different weapon light options, and the third is whether or not you should have a red dot on your handgun. And so I want to discuss first Kydex holsters. I ordered a tier 1 concealment Kydex holster that is a paddle holster. And paddle holsters are great for smaller guys like me because they're closer to the body, they shape a little bit better to your body type. And tier 1 concealment has a lot of very good options. I'm not sponsored by them in any way, shape, or form. Um, it does take 4 to 5 weeks for them to ship it out. So I have not received my Kydex holster yet, but when I do, I will gladly do a review and stuff like that on it. So Kydex holsters are really good because they prevent printing. So for my new concealed carry people out there, printing is when you can see the firearm through your clothing, or you can see an outline of the firearm underneath your shirt. So Tier 1 Concealment is a wonderful company. They have amazing customer service. I really like them. And some of the other options that they have as well is different Kydex holsters that also accommodate for weapon lights and things of that nature as well. Something to keep in mind with weapon lights is that they do add a little bit more print because a lot of weapon lights out there are a little bit bulky. So that is just something to keep in mind. I work graveyard shifts, and so, weapon lights and things like that aren't super important for me because if I go out, I'm usually going out, during the day. I'm not really going to be going out and at nighttime very often. But if you are, my regular, day shift workers, definitely having a weapon light is a really important option because, you know, it's great for knowing what your target is, what you're aiming at, things like that, instead of low light to very dark situations. So, if you're at a parking lot really late at night, or if you're getting gas, or, things of that nature, it's an important tool to keep on your person if you have the option to with your personal concealed carry firearm. Now, the other thing that I wanted to discuss was optics on handguns. Personally, I like having optics on my handguns. I used to be one of those people that did iron sights for a really long time. Iron sights was all that I used, all that I trained with, and having a red dot just made everything so much easier. Everybody's got their own opinions when it comes to weapon modifications and things like that, such as weapon lights and optics. From my own personal perspective, I think optics are very important because I was hitting center black at 30 yards with my P226 Legion. And I actually cut out the center circle because I had so many hits on target at that range. Now, that's a little bit of out of, pistol compliant range. Most self-defense cases you're looking at, just a few feet in front of you. But definitely doing, farther away training and things like that is a very important tool because if you practice on a fairly regular basis with close target engagements, then if you do find yourself inside of a situation that is a little bit farther, you want to make sure that you're prepared. Because preparedness is key for everything that you do inside your day-to-day life, which is why I personally conceal carry, because you never know what's going to happen. So that any situation, anywhere you go to, something bad could happen. Is it plausible? For most people, I would say no. Um, you're not going to find yourself inside of a dangerous situation, hopefully, on like a weekly basis or whatever. But having the object and having that tool, I find, is extremely important. So when it comes to red dots and things like that, I have a Swamp Fox Kraken optic on my MMP M2.0 Performance Center. I like my MMP M2.0 Performance Center. It's chambered in 40 Smith & Wesson because I like having a little bit more oomph. I can shoot extremely accurately with both 9mm and 40 and 45. I've gone to the range a lot. I've shot, hundreds, if not 1,000 rounds, just in the last few months alone. Because like I said in some of my prior videos, I am very new to the gun scene, and so any advice, any, basic pointers and tips and things like that I find I like to discuss with you guys instead of a very, not bias. If you are a, not gun activist or, anything like that, I don't have any issues. My channel might not be for you. However, in the next video that I'm going to make, I kind of want to discuss constitutional rights and some YouTube channels and stuff like that I've personally watched that are auditor channels and things like that for interactions with police. My first encounter with a police officer was when I was very young and I was in high school, and me and my girlfriend went to the 7-Eleven and picked up some Monster energy drinks, and I had a cop pull up inside of my fenced-in area of my school, and he was very aggressive, and it just was not a very good interaction. So knowing your rights and knowing how to interact with police is a very important step, especially when it comes to concealed carry. So I highly, highly, highly recommend you watch videos on police interactions and, being at a traffic stop with a firearm or getting pulled over while you have a firearm. If you conceal carry and you have a car inside of those states where constitutional carry is 100% legal, I still would recommend you get your concealed carry permit. So that way when you do get pulled over, a cop can just run your plate, go, okay, he's most likely got a gun because he has his concealed carry permit. So that way they know what they're walking into prior to you engaging them. So always, 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 check the laws inside of your areas, understand your constitutional rights, and understand how to interact with police properly to where you don't get in trouble or self-incriminate yourself, which is why we have the Fifth Amendment, is so that you don't self-incriminate inside of those situations where you happen to have a bad interaction with an officer or something like that. So please stay tuned for my next couple of videos. This one was a little bit short, I know, but the other thing that I wanted to touch up on is a couple of different brands for weapon lights. So there's a ton of different options for weapon lights and stuff like that out there. I'm not going to tell you what to get. I'm not going to tell you, what you should get or what not to get. But what I am going to say, after purchasing a couple of weapon lights myself, find ones that you can get holsters for easier. Because I've bought a few weapon lights now, and I've been looking for holsters that would accommodate both my firearm and that particular weapon light. But the weapon light that I got, I couldn't find a holster that would accommodate for both. So it is extremely important, if you are one of those people that is going to be out at night and stuff like that, that you want to have a good weapon light that is easy to find a holster for. So on that note, if you get from personal experience, a P226, get a SIG weapon light. Because if you have a SIG pistol, it's going to be so much easier to find a holster for your weapon light. I mean, that'll accommodate for your weapon light if it's both from the same company, same brand. Because more often than not, if you buy a SIG gun and you don't get a SIG weapon light, then finding a holster is going to be a pain. So the other thing that I wanted to touch up on too is leather holsters when it comes to appendix carry. Now, I like Kydex holsters. And the reason why I will always choose a Kydex holster over a leather holster is due to the very simple fact that when leather gets hot, it stretches, and when leather gets cold, it tends to snug more on your gun, which could cause issues for drawing and things of that nature. Also, when it comes to upkeep of leather, I have to wear leather steel-toed boots, and so it is extremely important for, all those guys out there that are, and women, of course, that are out there with leather holsters to understand that fact. Because if you're inside of a very cold environment, your gun's going to be a little bit harder to draw, which could potentially cause issues later. So I hope that this video was educational. I try to, like I said earlier, have a complete unbiased opinion, and I will be going through and showing a couple of weapon light options and things like that. I have a computer that I could do YouTube on, but I'm not 100% sure how all that works yet. I'm very new to this. If you guys want to watch me play video games, I have a Twitch channel. It's Ares the War God. So if that is something that you guys would be interested in, I'll go ahead and link it down below inside of the end of the video. And I hope you'll have a wonderful rest of your day. And good luck to you. Stay safe out there.